CCTV, also known as China Central Television, was originally called the Beijing Television. CCTV is the only national TV network in China, and CCTV's name was changed during the Reform era. CCTV is often viewed as a window on China's politics, economy, and society, and the changes have shown how China's society is slowly starting to change. The first changes started between 1978 to 1993, and the second changes started in the mid-1900s. CCTV's news broadcast reached 400 million views every day, which topped the national news program ratings. During the early 1980s, there was a special television and news reports which documented China's culture, history, and society. Some of the shows that were showed were called The Odyssey of the Great Wall, the Yangtze River, the Grand Canal, and the Seine, a river that dies young. CCTV started showing sports channels, and they even had a ritual starting in 1983 where the Spring Festival Gala would be broadcasted on the eve of the Lunar New Year. The Spring Festival Gala is one of the most talked about events in China and remains as the most popular TV entertainment program to this day. Like many Asian cultures, the Western has been a huge influence on the changes that occur. Even on television, they show imported goods from Western countries, which even includes shows from Germany. Since the 1990s, CCTV has been trying to publish more channels and make program adjustments. Their three goals is number one, to aim to provide more new programs that serve the public's needs and to create new program formats that appeal to the public. Number two is to improve program quality by addressing difficult and timely issues of public concerns. And lastly, they plan to push for a more lively, trustworthy, and accessible program formats. One popular one is called Focus, which became popular because they had eye-catching programs and reports of everyday issues in depth. The program serves as a watchdog by directly criticizing the bureaucracy and the wrongdoings of party and the government officials. They have been receiving many emails, phone calls, letters, and faxes, which even include getting a phone call from Hu Jintao, who is the Korean Party Secretary General. Former premiers such as Zhu Rongji has claimed to never miss Focus and has praised them for what they do. Focus not only has received one of the highest ratings in the history of Chinese television, but they have also inspired other programs. They remain popular because not only do they have the trust of the people, but they also please the party and the government.
I will now be talking about the economic reform and new management of CCTV. The producer system has been used for most programs. Television production was managed by the party for many decades. Before adopting the producer system, television professionals were powerless. The new system now gives producers power over staff hiring and firing, financing, and administration. Closely related to the adoption of the producer system was the adoption of advertising revenue. Advertising and commercials have made CCTV rich. Since the late 1990s, CCTV has contributed about $150 million to the government in the form of taxes. CCTV holds annual auctions of primetime commercial slots. In 2003 and 2004, CCTV advertising revenue reached about $1 billion, taking up almost a third of all the money spent on television advertising in China. It took almost 30 years to increase CCTV's operation from one channel to two. But from 1986 to 2004, the number of CCTV's channels increased from 2 to 16. The chart shows the multiplication of CCTV channels during the reform years. Now, CCTV has become one of the largest, most advanced, most powerful, and most influential television systems in the world. With a television network of 16 channels, 2 of which broadcast 24 hours a day. Programs on 2 CCTV channels are now accessible in more than 120 countries. CCTV Channel 4, the international channel in Chinese, is received in 10 million households. CCTV Channel 9, the international channel in English, received 40 million.
In the world of women's gymnastics, the competitors are typically not really women at all, but girls. Tears are not an uncommon sight during competitions or indeed during the harsh training.
Among all sports, gymnastics, women's gymnastics in particular, is quite possibly the best at revealing the beauty of the human body. To show that beauty, professional gymnasts must go through unimaginable hardship. The average age of the girls in the gymnastics team is less than 18. They begin their professional training at a very early age. Outsiders can scarcely imagine the hardships they go through, but the years of pain give them a unique style of elegance. Even the monotony of the training cannot hide their grace and innocence.
With all this expansion, CCTV has become a potentially powerful player in the global television arena.
Although CCTV has changed over time, the transformation is still incomplete. Its main purpose is still to serve the Communist Party, and its priorities are to put forth the party's political guidelines. Even during a new changing era, where the market economy is on the rise, CCTV still has to play the role as a mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party. There has not been much change in the regulations used to control CCTV since the first Cultural Revolution during the late 1960s to mid-70s. As a result of these strict regulations, programs with a critical edge, such as Focus, decline drastically. Most news reports are politically selective, unrealistic, and usually very untimely. When negative reports are made, authorities decide the time, tone, scale, and the terms of reporting. Most news coverage is leader-oriented and focused on government meetings, activities of the party, and government leaders. 41.6% of all news stories cover political affairs. That's 52.3% of all news broadcast running time. This is proof that media reform is only skin deep. The party's tolerance of the media has increased with a trend toward political democratization. Deng Xiaoping called for a further, quicker, deeper reform in 1992, which opened up opportunities for further relaxation and control over the media. The new political and ideological atmosphere prompted the party to tolerate many new initiatives by CCTV. By 2003, more than 30 overseas media companies were allowed to operate in China under certain conditions. Privately owned stations were on the rise because of the fact that they were not burdened by many restrictions. Hunan Satellite Television's Supergirl was the hottest TV program. The program is similar to the American TV show American Idol. CCTV's long-standing monopoly in the domestic market ended. By the end of 2005, the number of satellite stations accessible nationwide had reached over 50. The media in China is changing. However, due to the strict regulations of the government, it is changing at a much slower pace than it should.